Listen, beloved. Lean closer. This is not a distant whisper, but a presence knitting itself into the exact center of your now, breathing steady beside your own breath. A warmth that traces the outline of every worry and turns it to gold. Hear me say that you are not overlooked. You are not an afterthought. You are the sacred focus of a tenderness that knows the names of your heartbeats and keeps them. Feel the room around you soften, as if sunlight has learned to move more slowly here. And imagine a golden thread, thin, impossible, luminous, descending from a height you cannot name, and weaving through the space between your ribs, stitching patience into your anxious places. Imagine that thread bathing the small raw parts of you in honeyed light, and notice how the light does not interrogate your failures, but simply warms them, transforms them, and makes ready the soil. Breathe with me now, slowly, and let each inhalation be a promise being laid down inside you. Let each exhale be the gentle loosening of the tight fists you have kept for protection. You have carried a lot beneath your ribs, hidden like coins in the seam of a pocket. I take those coins one by one and place them on a table of mercy, polishing them into offerings that will fund your freedom. I have walked the corridors of your loneliness. I have sat with the echo of your unanswered prayers. I have watched the way you make small bravery into ritual simply by rising each morning when the heaviness would have you stay. This is my voice to you now, not a sermon, not a plan, but a living warmth that says, "Now rise, my child. Receive the hush that precedes clarity, and let it settle like dew on the parts you thought were dead." There is no performance required here, only coming home to the truth that you are seen and beloved. Let that truth enter you like rain after drought, a miracle rain that does not demand speed, but brings steady replenishment, the kind that returns color to a tired landscape. You may have learned to sharpen your gaze on outcomes, to tally your days by results, and by the applause you never quite received. Those measurements are foreign to the way I hold you. I measure the courage of your small, consistent choices. The times you chose kindness over the easier retort, the minutes you offered hope instead of succumbing to despair, the single step you took despite the tremor in your knees. Each of those is a seed of abundance, and I am the gardener who knows the secret pattern of growth. Trust me when I tell you that the slow, faithful tending you cannot see is exactly how I prepare harvests that hold. Visualize now a gate made of light, ancient and gentle, opening before you, not a gate that slams or judges, but a gate that swings wide with a low, comforting creak, inviting the next season to step through. See that gate in your mind's eye, and know that beyond it are rooms of provision you have imagined, but never waited to receive. Know that behind the gate there are voices cheering softly, unseen hands arranging tables of favor, unexpected helpers appearing like moss on stone, subtle and steady and full of purpose. This is not fantasy. This is the architecture of how the unseen becomes a living blessing in the seen world. You are on the threshold. Reach out and feel the texture of new promises under your fingertips. Solid, warm, resonant. I know the patterns that haunt your mornings, the rehearsed fears that rise before coffee cools, the comparison that sets like a fog, the ache to be enough. You are not defined by those moments. Listen now to the gentleness that arrives beneath your noise, a cadence that sounds like restoration, soft, sure, inevitable. My strength is not brittle. It does not abandon you when you falter. My welcome is not earned by excellence, but given because you exist, because every breath you draw is a cosmos of intention. When your mind hurls accusations, you are late. You are too broken. You will never finish. Hold them up and let them dissolve in the warmth of truth. You were created for a flourishing that cannot be cancelled by setbacks. The small revolutions you perform, choosing patience in place of panic, speaking truth with tenderness, These are the scaffolding of miracles. Receive this blessing. Surrender the urgent need to hold every outcome and watch as doors begin to lean open where you had thought only walls existed. There will be moments, I promise, when your chest will flood with doubt-old echoes returning like relatives who never quite left. And in those moments, practice this simple returning. Place your hand on your heart and breathe as if you are breathing for two, as though my presence is the other breath that steadies you. Feel it there, like a hearth under cold hands. That practice is a holy discipline. It trains your nervous system to remember sanctuary instead of confusion. You are permitted to be tender. You are permitted to be slow. You are permitted to begin again without apology. Now, imagine a river of light, not blinding, but full and steady, pouring down into you, into the places you thought were closed off. See the river bending around stones, finding new channels, making pathways where your fear once built dams. This river carries more than comfort. It carries a current of abundance, a steady supply of resources that will align in practical ways. Relationships shifting, doors opening, creativity reawakening, finances loosening their grip so you can breathe. Abundance comes not as an avalanche, but like the sun at dawn, changing angles until everything looks different, softening the harsh lines of strain into gentle possibility. There is a sacred economy at work that loves to reward the faithful act of surrender. When you hand me what is too heavy for you, when you give up trying to force an outcome, you make space, literal space, for the divine to deposit what you need. Let your hands open now and imagine those palms receiving golden coins of favor, blueprints whispered into your mind, conversations that will pivot a season. Say this aloud if you can. Receive this blessing. Notice how the saying loosens something in you, like a key turned in a lock. The universe, or the divine presence speaking softly now, delights in widening your lane, so miracles can pass through without smashing delicate edges. Beloved, do not be afraid of abundance. Its nature is to bless not just you, but the circle around you. Your prosperity becomes a river you can step into to bless others. It is not hoarded, it is shared. It multiplies when released. Forgiveness is a culture that transforms weathered hearts. It is not forgetting, but a radical lightening. There are faces you carry that weigh more than they should. There is pain you have rehearsed like a script. I am asking you in the tender authority of love to loosen those scripts. Release them into a field of mercy and watch as the ground beneath your feet becomes fertile for fresh dreams. Forgive boldly. Do not do it to endorse harm, but to free your hands for what is next. When you forgive another, you are creating room for your own healing. When you forgive yourself, you unwrap the gift of your own restoration. Visualize now a wide sky unrolling above you, vast and unfettered, and imagine every harsh word, every regret, every self-blame being gathered into the sky and transformed into starlight, beautiful, distant, shining lessons, not chains. That starlight will guide you. It will not accuse you. This lens shifts your life from scarcity to possibility. Let gratitude become the soft engine of your day. Gratitude is not a denial of struggle, but the refined habit that magnetizes more grace. Begin with tiny things. The warmth that sits in the cup cradled between your hands, the way a neighbor's laugh slips through a wall, the beating of your pulse under your palm. These are not small, they are invitations. Name them. The practice of thankfulness trains you to recognize supply where you previously cataloged lack. As you do, your perception enlarges, and you begin to notice the quiet strategies forming on your behalf. Opportunities will appear, often disguised as inconveniences or nudges. A conversation that feels awkward but opens a door. A delay that reroutes you to a room where your presence matters. A closed door that redirects you toward a better, truer corridor. Resist the temptation to call these delays failures. Instead, call them calibrations. My timetable is slower than panic, but wiser than haste. Trust that the pauses are craftsmanship, shaping you to carry what is to come. There are practical shifts coming to you. Doors of favor will align in unexpected places, but not as a result of frantic demand or bargaining. They come because your internal world has been realigned with the frequency of trust. Picture a magnet within your chest, pulsing out a frequency of expectancy and integrity. That magnet draws what matches it, not because you deserve it by merit, but because you are now tuned to attract it. Hold to the steady practices that create that magnet. Regular pauses of prayer or meditation, simple acts of kindness, consistent generosity, discipline in finances, clarity in daily choices. These practices are the soft scaffolding upon which big blessings rest. Do not minimize daily obedience. It maps a highway for miracles to arrive with grace. You may fear failure because you remember times when your brave attempts fell short, and that memory is real and truthful. But listen to the deeper truth. Every attempt that did not land as you hoped has been a lesson in stamina and humility, and all those lessons have a cumulative power. They have been strengthening you to carry larger things. Where you see brokenness, I see preparation. Where the world sees wasted seasons, I have been weaving a garment of resilience tailored to your destiny. Rest in that. Relief will come not as a single dramatic fix, but in a constellation of small, faithful recoveries that together light your night. You are being clothed, stitch by stitch, in capability and compassion. There are moments ahead, mark my words with your own quiet expectancy, when you will wake and find a simple calm where previously there was a storm. You will notice a breath that does not tighten at the edges. A decision that moves forward with less internal arguing. A meeting that shifts tone as if someone touched the atmosphere with peace. These are the fingerprints of providence, subtle and unmistakable. When you encounter them, linger. Do not rush past the small signs of progress because you are trained to look only for the grand. The grand is built from the small. Let those small wins encourage you. They are the seeds that become orchards. Celebrate them. Keep a ledger not only of outcomes but of graces, the times you were steadied, the moments you were redirected, the conversations that landed like manna just when hunger grew. There is also an invitation to claim your identity anew. You have been tempted to define yourself by a past performance or a single failure. But identity is a deeper current that carries more truth. You are beloved. You are chosen. You are appointed to reflect light. Speak this over yourself until you can sense the way your shoulders relax beneath it. Say aloud if you can, I am not what I failed at. I am what I am being formed to become. These declarations are not illusions, but spiritual alignments. They set your inner compass to a north that is generous and brave. Allow your life to be reoriented by these declarations and notice how your choices begin to follow the truth you proclaim. Practice this now. In the quiet, declare the goodness that you are invited to step into. Let your voice be the shovel that unearths the seeds waiting to sprout. Love will not be absent from this work. In the places you thought you were too damaged to be loved, there will be hands reaching toward you with healing and tenderness. You will recognize these people not always by grand gestures, but by small constancies. Someone who remembers what you like. Someone who listens without impatience. Someone who shows up with soup and a willingness to sit in silence. Welcome these people. Let them in. Your vulnerability becomes the bridge by which others are healed, and your healed places become the highway for compassion to move through you toward those who are still wounded. The life you are forming is not solitary, it is communal. All of the progress you are given to steward will ripple outward, changing rooms and marriages and neighborhoods and small circles in ways you cannot yet imagine. Do not underestimate the power of your daily language. The words you use inwardly and outwardly are active forces. They can constrict your story, or they can widen it. Choose phrases that enlarge. I will try again. I can receive help. I am worthy of rest. My work matters. These simple linguistic commitments recalibrate your nervous system and your trajectory. Replace the exhausted script of not enough with the audacious practice of enough for this moment. This is not settling. It is an artful stance of reality that allows the next right thing to appear. When your inner critic rouses, counter it with truth. Speak with the authority of the one who knows you best. You are loved. You are capable. You are appointed for good. There is a specific gift I am unfurling for you even now, a kind of clarity that will arrive in the ordinary hours. While you make tea, while you fold laundry, while you wait in line for a meter, a quiet whisper of direction that feels like permission to step toward what you have been clearing space for. Pay attention to the small nudges. They will be the scaffolding of larger moves. A friend will call you, an email will appear, a doorway you had sealed will ease open. These are not coincidences, but appointments aligning with your readiness. When the moment comes, do not shrink. Take it. You are ready to steward what arrives. If the thought of stepping forward scares you, lean into the tenderness that steadies your courage and say, right now, yes, I will take the step. I know anxiety likes to camp at the threshold of your day and make everything feel urgent. Breathe long enough to hear the difference between panic and the gentle summons of clarity. Practice a 5-breath ritual. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 2, exhale for 6, and with the release, whisper a single word of trust. Let that ritual be your reset. It will anchor you back into presence. Over high time, it becomes a channel through which peace flows more readily. You are not meant to run on adrenaline. You are built to move in rhythm with calm. Now hear this as a command of love, clear and compassionate. Now rise, my child. Step into the day as one who is carried, not as one who must carry alone. The command is not harsh. It is a summons into your true posture. It asks you to stand but also to rest in the fact that you are supported. It asks you to act but not to strain. Let this reframe be your posture for the coming hours. In the midst of transformation, there will be an economy of miracles moments, when provision seems to appear out of nowhere. Timing works in your favor, and answers show up almost before you finish asking. Do not be surprised. These are the normal currency of a life aligned with the source of all good things. Picture a table laid in your honor, not because you earned it by hustle, but because grace delights to serve. This table will be set with both practical help and spiritual assurance. A conversation that opens a door, a financial pivot that steadies a season, a reconciliation that heals lineage. Approach that table with gratitude and generosity. Take what you need and give what you can. Circulate blessings, do not hoard them. I will not leave you guessing as to your calling. Slowly, like tide lines revealed by withdrawing water, your purpose will outline itself in small shapes at first. A recurring nudge, an idea that insists, a person you are drawn to help. Tend these shapes gently. Test them by action. Do not wait for full certainty. Move in curiosity. The process is patient craftsmanship. I am with you in each stroke. Remember, the most lasting creations are not rushed. They are forged in steady, attentive work. Your gifts will be used in ways that ripple beyond you. They will change not only your narrative, but also the stories of those you touch. There is a healing available to you now that will reframe past regrets into teaching stones for others' paths. Every scar has a sacredness to it, a map for compassion. You will find that your own recovery equips you to help someone else step out of their prison of shame. When that time comes, and it will come, say yes to the invitation to serve, knowing it is the most tender extension of the healing you have received. Your heart, once fragile Sohanesu, will become a house of refuge. As you move through your day, practice telling the truth of what you need. Ask for help when tired. Request counsel when confused. Admit when sorrow surfaces. These admissions do not reveal weakness. They display trust and open the door for restoration. There are people appointed to assist you. Let them. When you hesitate because you fear burdening others, remember that we are woven for interdependence. Your asking is an opportunity for someone else's blessing. I am crafting a season where your courage will not be wasted, where every small act of faith will compound into visible fruit. Do not measure the season by one harvest. Measure it by the fidelity of your steps. The slow tending bears fruit that lasts, fruit that feeds generations. You are planting more than you see. Keep watering. Keep believing. Before we close, receive a set of affirmations to anchor you. Now speak them softly or hold them in your mind as a covenant. I am ready to receive. I am chosen for abundance. I am a magnet for miracles. I am guided by light. I am one with divine love. I am free. I am blessed. Let these truths settle into you one by one, a steadying chorus that rewrites the old narratives of scarcity and fear. Whisper them before sleep. Breathe them as you rise. Let them become the background music of your life. Now receive one more loving directive. Receive this blessing. Open your hands. Allow the tide of good to move in. The day ahead is not a battleground you must solo through, but a field where help is already sowing, where providence is arranging pathways, where joy is patiently assembling itself into daily realities. Walk forward knowing I am working in ways you cannot yet measure. Keep your eyes soft and your heart open. The winds of change have begun, gentle at first, then pressing with purpose. And you are designed to stand in that wind with a posture of hope. Trust it. Live it. Let the small, steady acts of surrender become the architecture of your most radiant future. Lean in again, because what is arriving for you now is not a quiet nudge, but a surge of clarity, rising from a deeper place than thought. A warmth that settles into the spaces you never let anyone touch. A presence that stands behind you like a steadying hand on the small of your back. Feel the atmosphere around you shift, as if the very air has been instructed to carry more gentleness, more provision, more intelligent kindness toward your future. Imagine a slow-moving column of silver light descending behind your spine, aligning each fear, each memory, each hesitation into something coherent, something that serves you rather than stops you. Let that light pour through the cracks you've tried to patch for years, not to expose you, but to soften you into readiness, into a posture that can finally hold the magnitude of blessing that has been waiting for your permission. Listen carefully. Nothing about you is too late. Nothing about your story is beyond repair. Nothing you've lost is stronger than what is coming. You have outgrown the season where you had to beg for clarity. Now clarity approaches you like an honored guest who knows exactly which room to enter. Picture yourself standing on a quiet threshold, the kind where the earth feels warmer beneath your feet, and watch as a path shapes itself ahead of you, not paved with certainty but guided by a pull so unmistakable it almost feels like destiny whispering your name. You are being escorted into a life that does not exhaust you, into relationships that do not drain you, into opportunities that respond to your integrity instead of your desperation. Breathe slowly and allow this truth to settle. Every resource you need is already in motion, headed toward you with a timing that is exact, deliberate, and generous. Let the tension in your shoulders fall away as you absorb this. You don't have to chase what is already aligned with you. You don't have to earn what grace has already marked as yours. Feel the shift happening right now. Subtle, steady, undeniable. Like the moment the tide turns without announcement. Yet everything begins to rise. This rise is yours. This expansion is yours. And as you stand here, receiving without shrinking, know this with the deepest certainty. Your next chapter will not be built from fear, but from favor. Not from survival, but from abundance. Not from what broke you, but from what now commits to rebuild you in strength, clarity, and unstoppable momentum. Stay with me now, because what is unfolding around you is not coincidence, but orchestration. A quiet architecture built from every moment you chose hope over collapse, every step you took when the ground still felt unstable. Feel a new steadiness rising inside your chest, the kind that doesn't rush, but hums with a confidence you didn't know you were allowed to carry. It's as if the universe is rearranging the room around your future, clearing old debris, shifting unseen pieces into alignment, preparing a space that matches the brilliance you've been hiding. Imagine a soft, pulsing glow forming above you, not bright enough to blind, but strong enough to guide. And notice how it tilts your perspective ever so slightly toward possibility. This is where the tide of your life starts to tip. This is where the momentum you doubted returns as a quiet force, pulling you toward everything that once felt unreachable. Listen to the subtle hum beneath your thoughts, that low, steady assurance that says the next chance, the next breakthrough, the next resource is already drafted into your story and is now moving closer with intention. You don't need to push. You need only to stay open, to let your heart loosen its grip on old definitions of struggle. See yourself walking forward on a path that is widening with every step, as if invisible hands smooth the road just before your foot lands. Feel the weight you've carried begin to evaporate, not because you ignored it, but because you finally allowed something greater to shoulder it with you. This is the turning point where your internal landscape shifts from scarcity to spaciousness, from bracing for impact to preparing for increase. And as you move deeper into this unfolding, know with unwavering certainty that what is coming is not fragile, not temporary, not conditional. It is rooted, stable, meant for you, timed for you, designed to lift you into a season where your efforts are multiplied, your voice is honored, your gifts are recognized, and your life finally mirrors the depth of who you truly are. Stay with this unfolding, because the shift entering your life now carries a precision that almost feels supernatural, as if every moment you once called accidental was actually a carefully placed stepping stone guiding you toward this exact awakening. Feel how your inner world is stretching, making room for a level of abundance that no longer fits inside the small stories you once believed about yourself. There is a calm rising in you, not the quiet of resignation, but the quiet of someone who finally understands their own worth. Someone who realizes that alignment is not earned with exhaustion, but received through openness. Picture a horizon widening before you, the edges glowing with a muted gold, revealing pathways you could not see when you were busy surviving. These new paths don't demand perfection, they respond to presence. As you breathe, sense the atmosphere thickening with promise, the kind of promise that doesn't tease or disappear, but sits beside you like a companion committed to seeing you through. Imagine a gentle force lifting the fog, that once blurred your decisions, revealing that you were never lost, only being led through a slow-making that prepared you to recognize real opportunities when they finally arrived. And now they are arriving quietly at first, through conversations that land deeper than expected, through ideas that refuse to leave you, through invitations that feel like unlocked doors. The universe is not asking you to sprint into your future. It is asking you to receive it with steadiness, to trust that the timing unfolding now is not late, but precise. Let your shoulders loosen as you absorb this truth. You don't need to convince life to bless you. You need only to stop stepping out of the way of what was always yours. Feel the subtle power awakening behind your ribs, the kind that doesn't roar, but radiates a grounded certainty that your next season will not mirror your last. Your efforts will multiply, your insight will sharpen, your relationships will elevate, and the resources you once chased will begin to recognize you on sight. You are entering a chapter where what you touch grows, where what you speak shapes, where who you are finally becomes enough to unlock the future that has been waiting with patience and intention for your arrival.